Hello to all my fellow glorious Gaians. Thank you for joining me, Amber, on my channel, Guidance Through Gaia, where I do tarot pick-a-card readings. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I hope that you find something that resonates with you today. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you for giving me another chance to work with your energy today. I just want to make a little disclaimer, and just say that I don't know everything, about you, about even myself, or about the situation, or my practice, so I just really encourage you to use your own discernment. If there are any other interpretations that cross your mind when you are viewing the pile or piles that you choose, feel free to embrace that. And also, what's the point in knowing everything? What matters to me most than knowing everything, which would be an impossible task, is making sure that I utilize what I do know, or what I feel that I know, in a way that is helpful to you and to myself. I'm not here to do any harm. So that being said, we have a reading called What's Next in Love? Question a lot of us want to know. This can be for those of you in a connection, a situationship, a long-term relationship, or just single as hell. We have 3 piles to choose from. And these are represented, I'm doing this a little bit differently today. I chose for group number 1, Spam, and the Jupiter Astro Dice placement. For group number 2, we have Bazooka and Taurus. I almost said tennis. And then for group number 3, we have the STP oil treatment and the 4th house. All right. What we're going to be looking at is, this is the energy of the situation, these oracle cards here. Then we're going to be using tarot to figure out how this situation presents itself in this energy. And then we've got some oracle cards here that we'll be going through to see what any other messages the universe may have for you regarding the future of your love life as it stands now. So go ahead, choose a pile or piles, and I'll see you there. Bye. All right, group number 1, you chose Spam and or the Jupiter placements. So this is going to be a reading on what's next in love. So right away, Spam makes me think of a lot of attention, particularly online attention, though not necessarily. Jupiter could indicate attention in business. So if you have an online presence, for example, you may be getting a lot of admirers. Expansion with Jupiter can also just mean your options are expanding, or that if you are already in a connection, the attention that you're getting from the person that you are connected with is just expanding. When I think of Jupiter, I also think of thunder, and Zeus. Zeus was is the Greek counterpart to the Roman Jupiter, if I remember correctly. He was a little bit of a player. If you're like, oh my God, yes, I know, like, it's what I'm dealing with right now, then you can be guaranteed that this is a reading for you. But also just may indicate that, like, you're going to be very flirtatious, or have someone in your life who's flirtatious, or receiving a lot of flirtation, and being the god of thunder and lightning. I feel like it's just intense. It's electric. It's coming in quickly, and it's coming in hot. So we'll see what these oracle cards say for the energy. We have Kiss. We have Detached and Move On. Or Detach and Move On. And then we have the Tree of Life with the Ash Tree and Influence. I'm going to put these over here. And probably move these a little bit over here. God, I really need to clean this table. All right, so right away with the Kiss and the Heart, I'm hearing like the song Apathy. And, like, kissy face, sent to your phone, but I'm trying to kiss your lips for real. Red hot, that's what I want. Oh, come give me something I can feel. So to me, that is once again very much the energy of either receiving a lot of attention from a lot of people or somebody who is just very persistent in their attention to you, whether it is a current partner, a romantic interest, or somebody new coming in. This does feel, even though this detach and move on card, for those of us who are very attached to love, whether it's to a particular person or just wanting someone to come into our life. I know sometimes that can be a thought that's really triggering, but like, look at this. This woman is blowing on a dandelion. You know, that's a wish. That's the act of asking the universe for something. And notice that's, oh my God, I didn't even think of that when I was laying these cards out. But her lips right here and how she's wishing for something. And then like, you've got these two faces who are next to each other and leaning in for a kiss. So it's almost like, you know, she's asking for her other half. I feel like this is going to come at a point when if you're with someone already, whether it's a committed relationship or not, I feel like the energy moving forward is probably you maybe taking an emotional step back. Maybe things in your relationship have not been going very well. There hasn't been a lot of affection. It could be that if it's a partner, they're very busy. If it's somebody new, maybe it's just in that like really awkward phase where you don't really know each other enough to be like super cute and adorable and affectionate, or maybe just one or neither of you are particularly affectionate people in the very beginning. And if this is like, if you're not involved with anybody in particular right now at all, I feel like this is just the energy of you maybe not putting effort into dating or entering into dating or continuing dating, but coming from a mind frame where you're more just looking to see what's out there. You're not necessarily going to get too attached to somebody right away. Especially if there's been a lot of disappointment and a lot of recent disappointment, because sometimes going through that cycle of dating can be really exhausting. Getting to know somebody, getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to love you. I haven't watched The Sound of Music in so long. Oh gosh. Okay. There may have been disappointment recently. Because when I'm thinking of The Sound of Music, I'm thinking of when there's the young Von Trapp girl who's in love with, is his name Rolf? And, you know, he's a little bit older and she's looking at him and feeling really dreamy, like he's this provider and he's guaranteeing her that he'll take care of her. And then it turns out that like he's a Nazi. He joins the Nazi party and her family resists the Nazi regime. And so they go from lovers to enemies. And that may be a situation that you've recently had to deal with. Conversely, it could be like Maria and Mr. Von Trapp, where there may be this energy coming into your life where you're kind of resisting somebody. Or even if it's like your current partner, maybe you're just like, you know what? I'm not in the mood to be touched. I'm not in the mood to be loved. I'm really pissed off at you right now. But they keep throwing their affection at you. And because Mr. Von Trapp and Maria really didn't like each other at first, you know. But then through their kind of forced interactions and, you know, of course, the trauma of of existing during the Nazi period created this bond between them. And so you may actually be resisting affection from somebody. And either way, someone or multiple people are going to come in and continue to give you attention, continue to flirt with you, continue to try to reignite the flames or to spark an interest. And of course, it is up to you how you feel about that. I don't always think that pursuit is necessarily cute. You know, it really is very dependent on the situation. Like, how does the person being pursued feel? Ultimately, that's like the most important thing. So if you're really not feeling somebody, you don't have to give them attention. You're not obligated to show any interest in them whatsoever. But there may be somebody who stands out from the crowd, or there may be somebody who does, after several attempts of wooing you or re-wooing you, you may find that your guard begins to slowly break down. And if that's not something you want, then I would definitely confront that situation. Even if that means like blocking somebody or signing divorce papers or whatever it is. But you may find that somebody does manage to kind of break through your defenses when you were least expecting it. So the tree of life, the ash tree, says influence, and it has this beautiful little pheasant. Oh my God, I'm thinking of hunting now. Someone's hunting you, group number 1. Someone is hunting you. And it says, from the innermost center of your psyche, your good influence radiates far, spreading light. And so it may be that you're focusing more on yourself, especially if you're somebody who is very business oriented. And the focus that you're placing onto your project or onto your mental health or onto the expansion of whatever in your life is really causing a lot of notice from other people. Like, even if, say you're married, okay, and there's just like, maybe your marriage has felt dead for a while. And you're just like, screw it. Like, I'm gonna focus on myself and my projects. And maybe your significant other is just watching you work really hard or try different things. And they're like, there they are. There's the person I fell in love with. And maybe there just hasn't been enough communication between the two of you in order to establish that like things have gotten stagnant or how they can work, you know, how you can work through. But group number 1, for as many different scenarios as I see in this, I ultimately see a lot of passion coming towards you. And I see a lot of attention. Now, one thing that this Kiss card does make me think of, and, you know, spam sometimes is a lot of unwanted solicitations. And this reminds me of like I don't remember what they call them, but the images that are like illusions or whatever, where it's like, which image do you see first? So something may come across as like a disingenuous person or disingenuous interest, because maybe you have been receiving a lot of attention, or you're used to like a lot of people who kind of come in and then ghost you or whatever, and you're thinking like, oh, it's just going to be one of those people again. The universe is really encouraging you to give this situation a chance, even if it's like your partner, where you're like, you know what, like they've given me empty promises before or whatever. And so maybe there's this hesitancy to hold any validity to what they say. To that, I would argue, make them prove it. You know, you don't have to be like super stiff about it. Be like, show me what you mean. If you really mean it, prove it. But like, just watch them. You know, watch them. Or are they showing any growth? Are they showing any change? Or is it just empty gestures? There is a lot, though, of attention and attraction and communication coming in through for you. And ultimately, especially if you have been wishing for something to change in your relationship or to have a new connection come in. I really do see with this card, even though it says detach and move on, I do see it coming through. All right. So we'll see how this energy is moving into your life. I feel like we probably covered that a lot, but we'll see if there's anything more specific that comes out. How is this energy moving throughout group number one's life? How is this energy moving throughout group number one's life? Okay, the Six of Cups in reverse. So I definitely think that there are people that you will not be entertaining, or there will be a resistance to return affections. There is a stagnancy there. I do feel it's on your part, because I don't feel like you're actively searching for anything. Because you've got, I think with the Hierophant there are certain expectations and certain standards that you're holding on to now. You know, you might have been more lenient about the kind of energy you accepted in the past. You want the real thing, group number one. And you're not willing to entertain the kind of energy that isn't serious. Yep, anybody who's coming in, you're going to have, I think, a lot of people who are coming in and just offering like physical, like just purely physical experiences, or there's going to be a lot of like fire and passion, flirtation, and I just don't think you're going to give into that. This Four of Swords here, clarified by the Nine of Cups, is because you're really standing in a position where you're like, I'm okay where I'm at. You know, I am building myself up emotionally. I don't need the attention from other people, even if it's from my spouse. Okay, the Hierophant clarified by the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, okay. Okay, we got a lot of cards here. Okay, so we've got also the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Two of Wands, and the Six of Wands. Let's get one for the Ten of Coins here. We've got the Ace of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Swords in reverse. Okay, so returning to the Hierophant with the Queen of Coins in reverse, what I feel is that you are really withholding your resources because you want to see who values you for you. Maybe you've had to be somebody who has nurtured other people, done like the mental, physical, emotional labor for others, and have realized that a lot of people will at best take that energy for granted and not understand the value of what that is and how they need to, in order to maintain a harmonious relationship, offer something of themselves into the connection as well. At worst, I think some people have taken advantage of this. They've just kind of seen you as somebody who is like a stepping stone or somebody to build themselves up, and they did not prioritize you, especially if you're somebody who has like some kind of public influence or financial leverage. I don't think leverage is the right word, but you may be, I think, a little bit more reserved, especially in connecting with people if they try to connect with you throughout those methods. Because for one, yes, you are content with who you are. You are proud of the accomplishments that you've made, but you're not going to let anybody else like ride that wave that you've created. You need to know that whoever is with you for yourself, for your quality of character, because they love you and not because you have something to offer them. And I think even if you are in a relationship, you might be pulling that energy back as well. You might not be including them in on the decisions of what you do with your wealth or with your influence. You might not be as nurturing to them. You might be kind of in this phase of like, let them figure shit out, because you feel potentially that your skills and value have been abused in a way or neglected. And so to kind of keep your own cup full and to make sure that you're not running dry, I think you've really pulled back so you can focus on yourself, because you don't want to, I think are coming, how do I want to word that? With this 10 of Pentacles, you want that security. Like you want love. You very much do want love, I think. But I think it's worth noting here, we've got some Cups cards in reverse, like the 6 of Cups in reverse, which is about like reciprocity. But the self-love card, the wish fulfillment card, like in Cups, that's upright. You've got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, which is typically like a queen that's very nurturing, very giving, very generous. But you've got these Wands cards upright, so I think for you, you're very much about like actions and like physical stability in a connection matter more to you than just words and gestures, especially with this 10 of Pentacles upright being clarified by the Ace of Swords, in reverse, and the 7 of Swords in reverse. To me, that talks about having a relationship that's solid and there's no illusion. Any deficits are brought up and acknowledged. Any anxieties are addressed. Anything where there's confusion about is openly discussed. I think you're looking for something, whether it's in your current relationship or in a fresh relationship, where there's complete transparency. And I think in order for you to feel that you have that, I think you feel that you need to pull your energy back. And it could be just to also collect yourself. If you feel like you've put yourself out there so much that you don't know which direction is right, up, down, left, you may need to pull back your energy to figure out like, where even am I? With the Knight of Cups in reverse, clarified by the 2 of Wands and the 6 of Wands, I think you've kind of gotten to a point in your life, whether you're currently attached or you're not attached, where you're like, I think you've had to emotionally turn off a little bit. Because you realized or felt at least like, I can't control anybody else but myself. If this person isn't willing to love me correctly, or if I'm not able to find find someone who can offer me a genuine kind of love, then I know how to make my life happen the way that I want to. I don't need somebody else to do that. I want somebody by my side, but at the end of the day, like I'm going to be a boss no matter what. And it's, I think it's sad, but it's also beautiful, because I can definitely see there's going to be some defenses. Someone's going to have to be willing to respect, and they're going to have to earn your vulnerability, whether this is a new connection or not. But I think that at the end of the day, whoever's coming in, like, you're going to recognize the person who is genuine, or that the person in your life is genuine. And it could be that this like how this transpires, well, obviously, I guess that was the whole reason why. But yeah, that sense of defensiveness could be the reason why we're getting to this point, you know? Because, like, you've just finally said, like, I've had enough. I've had enough of the way other people treat me, or I've had enough of putting my all into someone else and feeling like I'm not getting anything in return. At the detriment of my health, my confidence, my feeling of self-worth. So what does the universe want to have? Like, what messages do they have for you about the, you know, what's next in your love life? Twin flames, yin yang, zen, balance, union, duality, coupling, complement each other. You could be dealing with somebody that you feel you have a very deep soul tie with, or a twin flame relationship with. And I would say, like, especially if this is an existing or an older connection coming back in, I think you may have been the chaser at one point, and I think you stopped chasing. And I think you're realizing that, like, because a lot of times when we talk about, like, twin flames, it's all about, like, we get what we put out. In the sense of, like, if I'm over giving, I'm doing so because I'm feeling like I need to earn that love. And so then in actuality, I need to give to myself to see that I'm valuable. So if this is a pre-existing or a previous connection, I think maybe you have learned some heavy lessons, and this is where you're like, okay, let's see what my counterpart has learned. You know, if this is a newer connection, I would say definitely focus on maintaining balance. Make sure you're prioritizing yourself and your happiness. And if the other person starts to run, or if they even start to overgive, if you notice that their tension's rising, it's going to be very important for you to maintain a level head, because it would be otherwise easy to spiral out. Whereas, not just for the sake of the relationship, but for the sake of you as well, you don't need to be spiraling. Nobody needs to be spiraling. Then we've got Hand of Cards. Take a chance, risk, being strategic, options, not showing hand, and gambling. The not showing the hand is once again giving me, like, the Seven of Wands energy, which is just about being defensive. And this, just to confirm what we already said, is you are somebody who is going to be very strategic. Unless, if you've been watching this and you're like, well, that's not me, but you still felt reason to be here, this might be explaining to you that you are going to connect with someone who is going to be very defensive, and you're just going to have to be patient and work on your own work on your own sense of balance in order to open up an opportunity for this connection, or reviving this connection. But this, and options, once again, we talked about with spam. And even if this is only dealing with one person, like, I think you're going to have, I mean, we always have the options, you know. Do you stay? Do you go? Do you spiral? Do you maintain control? Oh, goodness. I'm not taking these bottom ones because they fell. But we've got, you know what? I'm gonna take it in the reverse because it came out reverse. Flirt, extend your lighthearted energy to others. So I think the universe is also, like, first of all, confirming we're going to have a lot of flirting going on. But secondly, it's okay to flirt. We don't have to be like an Iron Maiden over here. Being flirty doesn't necessarily mean that you're opening up the door to someone who is going to hurt you or take you for granted. And sometimes it can just feel good, you know, to be a little less serious, to be a little freer, you know, because if we're sitting here in Seven of Wands energy the entire time, it's like, there was a quote in my head and now I can't even think of it or where it came from. But you know that stereotype in like every rom-com movie essentially where there's like the super tough girl, but you know, she tries so hard to not fall in love with somebody and then like almost misses the opportunity and has to learn how to be vulnerable. I think the universe is saying, like, you know, being strategic, having your defenses up, that is a positive, but don't be afraid to let your guard down a little bit. And then passion in reverse, which allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. But don't give into the passion too much yet. I definitely would say that it's important to make the people or person who are pursuing you work for it a little bit. And if you're on the opposite end of this reading, you got to figure out, like, is this someone that you're willing to work for? Because if it's not, then don't waste their time. You wouldn't want your time wasted. And then finally, we're going to get some cards from the Romeo and Juliet, which is not a romantic relationship we want to model our relationships after. But it does offer some damn good reading or watching. Kiss. We have so much about kissing here. The sublimation of love, eternal loyalty, noble sacrifice. Oh, churl, drunk all and left no friendly drop to help me after I will kiss thy lips. Okay, now that one's a dramatic kiss because that is where Romeo and Juliet die. Someone might come in and act like if they don't get a chance to be with you, that they would die. Maybe let them be dramatic. This person might just be someone who is in a theatrics, you know? Like, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Some people are just very dramatic in the way that they express themselves. If someone's trying to be manipulative about it, that is where it's problematic. But even though this is a very tragic scene, what this does demonstrate is that there is somebody who feels very connected to you and that they do have loyalty in their hearts for you, and that they are willing to make sacrifices, okay? This is somebody who is going to be willing to earn your respect, your love, your attention, whether it's for the first time or whether it's again. And if you're on the other end of the spectrum on this reading, this is saying, like, yes, this person is worth it. You know, maybe in the past, like, you have put in the effort to work on proving yourself to somebody and maybe they've left you out in the cold. I will say, be confident in yourself first, you know, but love isn't always easy. Relationships aren't always easy. And sometimes we do if we value a relationship strongly enough, sometimes the risk of expending ourselves to prove our love for someone can result in a fruitful outcome. So if you're inquiring about like, oh, if I'm really putting myself out there to show somebody like, hey, I do value you, I do want you, are they going to just dust me off, or is this somebody that actually will give me an opportunity or will accept my offer? The answer to that is they will. You know, it's going to take some time, but they will. So group number 1, if you found this reading to be beneficial, please let me know how in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to join the family but haven't done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll know whenever I upload a new video. Bye. Hi, group number 2. You chose Bazooka Bubblegum and Taurus, and this is going to be your reading on what's next in love. So I get a lot of things with bazooka. First of all, I think of like a bazooka, you know, a big gun. You just like, you're in war and you put it on your shoulder and you shoot it. And it's like, makes me think of, shot through the heart and you're to blame. We're not going to finish the rest of that song though, because I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Bazooka, if you haven't had bazooka bubblegum before, it can be kind of bland and tough, but somehow it's addictive. So there could be this energy of maybe like somebody in your life who you kind of don't know why, but you're into them, whether this is like a current energy or a future energy. Almost like it's just kind of like it took a while to get used to, but now that you've had it, like it's just habit now. Like you can't stop. Like one pop, you can't stop. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Taurus is all about pleasure, baby. Like Taurus is the most, I would say, relaxed earth sign between Capricorn and Virgo and Taurus. Are they the fixed sign? They're very, very stubborn, stuck in their ways. This could even deal with like a connection that, and this is about a connection that's currently existing, a connection that never really took off because two people were just kind of like opposing views, maybe not wanting the same thing. Because I'll tell you what, a Taurus doesn't do anything a Taurus doesn't want to do. And I could be coming from a biased perspective. Now, let me say this. I love Taurus moons. I never had any issues with Taurus women. My heart was broken by a Taurus. I mean, I was also an idiot. So there is that. But an unhealed Taurus person, I will say that. An unhealed Taurus person is somebody who can be very stuck in their ways. They can be somebody who doesn't take initiative and only does things that pleasure them. But I suppose a healed Taurus person can be very hardworking. Still probably bullheaded, but I think more open-minded than the unhealed version of themselves, and somebody who probably does work hard, okay? Has some stamina. But there could be a connection coming in that maybe is more enjoyable than you anticipated. Or it could be just going around and having a lot of fun. So whatever it is, I think pleasure is involved, though. Like, I think it's whether it's pleasure of the mind, pleasure of the heart, pleasure of the body, there is some sense of pleasure occurring. So we're going to get into the energy of the future, like, you know, what's coming into your romantic life. So we've got death. We've got the horse. I just noticed I have my light positioned differently. adventure and play. We've got the orange tree with communication, number 32. And we have card number 20 with the, it might be pronounced something differently, but it could be quince tree, fruitfulness. So overall, this does continue to show me that there's a sense of fun, enjoyment, and pleasure coming into your life romantically. This could be somebody completely new. It could be somebody that you have dealt with in the past. It could be somebody current. The death with horse. Okay, when we think of horses, we think of movement, right? They remind me of like the knights, because in the court cards, every knight is typically on a horse. And just look how this horse is like rearing up. It's like showing off. It's like, look at me. I'm a stag. I'm a stud. And then we've got death, which is very scorpionic energy, which can be very deep and intense. And so maybe something that starts off very surface level ends up becoming something a lot more addictive, or if not addictive, it could be just transforming. So say this is like a one night stand situation, okay? You just think like, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna get some. But you find out like you're expecting it just be kind of run of the mill poo-tang, and then you find out like, oh my God, I have a deeper connection to this person than I thought. Like maybe instead of just getting right to business, you guys end up talking for a while or even talking afterwards, and you find out like, hey, this person's like really cool. Like whether or not I continue seeing them, I don't know. But like I enjoyed my time. It could also be that you find out that there's something sexually, or even if you guys aren't engaging in sexual behaviors, but you're going out on like a date. It could be something that you feel like this isn't what I expected. It's so much better. Like, I'm just so used to people wanting to meet up at a bar or go out to a movie or have dinner. But like, man, we went rock climbing for our date. Or this person and I went and did like a painting class, a paint and sip or whatever. And like, I had a lot of fun. Or if this does include sexual activity, it could be like, oh my God, I did not know I would be into that. That really rocked my world. Or like, I feel more satisfied than I have in a long time with previous partners. If this is a person from your past, I think they're coming in differently. Maybe they have learned things about themselves, or maybe they reflected on the relationship or the connection, or, what happened, what didn't happen, what could have happened, and they're coming towards you. I keep seeing this image of like, those like old time cartoons, like those old time Disney and Nickelodeon. Well, I guess it wouldn't be Nickelodeon really, but those old time Disney cartoons where they like don't even really have any sound. But I keep seeing the image of like a skeleton coming in on a horse, like coming in to shake it up. And so if this is a past person, I think this is somebody who is coming at you in a different way. Maybe they were just a hookup before and they're coming in like, hey, I actually want to really see you in a more committed sense. Or if this is like a current partner, this is somebody who's coming in and going like, let's try something different. Like if this is sexually, they might be like, yo, babe, like I was researching different things, or, I saw something in like a movie or I read about something in a book. Like I think of like someone picking up a dark romance book and reading it and being like, oh my God, this is what my partner is reading. Like, do they really want to try this? Do I want to try this? Maybe. Or just coming in even like romantically different. Like maybe they've been trying to love you in the ways that they need love. And you're like, I appreciate that you're trying to do this for me, but this isn't my love. Like this isn't how I want to be loved. you know, and the fact that you don't seem to get that just shows me that like you're not paying attention to me. And so they might have finally recognized that and are coming in a way that is more aligned to catering to your needs. Adventure and play. So what this tells me is that there's going to be a lot of lightheartedness. Even though this is scorpionic energy and it can be really deep and intense, I don't think it's going to be like catastrophic. I don't sense like a negative intensity here or like a destabilizing sense of change. What I see is something that offers you the ability to like engage in being more lighthearted, engage in like, if this is like dating, or in a committed relationship, this allows you to kind of, I think, tap into like your inner child and just enjoy each other's company and go out and try different things, get out of the house or explore a new hobby, explore a new skill, learn about a different language or culture, or just go on a road trip or something. If this is like sexually, then this is not being so worried about our performance or, you know, how we look to another person physically, how we sound, but really being able to show up in that interaction, be your authentic self and have fun with it, you know? For some people, this is going to be, I think, more casual. But even if it is casual, like even if what's entering into your life is not something that stays in your life, I think it is going to be transformative. It's going to offer you a sense of relief. Maybe it's because you realize like, okay, yes, I had this date with this person and, you know, we're not moving it forward, but I feel better. You know, maybe it was because I saw someone who was receptive to me. Maybe they gave me compliments. And even though it didn't work out, I still feel better about myself and my ability to engage in connections. I know more about what I'm looking for. I know that I have value. I know that I'm fun. I know that I can enjoy the process of dating again. And, but for most of you, I don't feel like this is casual. For a lot of you, I do think that this is something that either is more committed or becomes more committed or long-term. But regardless, like I said, if this involves commitment or not, the effects of this energy, I truly believe are going to stay. They're going to stay for a long time, as long as you allow it. Because sometimes we can engage, we can get those kind of like high, good feelings, that sense of relief, and then not long down the road, we kind of come crashing down again. And I think this has the potential to be a very big confidence booster, a very big sense of like feeling freed from some sort of burden or negative perspective. We've got communication here with orange, and it says you will receive the unconditional bounties of heaven following your heart. And so for those of you where like maybe there's been a missed connection, or a connection that's currently like on the rocks, there's this sense of like you have been vulnerable, you have been generous, and you are going to see that reciprocated. It might, if it's not from this person, if it's not from the person on your mind, the universe is bringing in somebody who is going to embody that unconditional bounty of heaven, essentially. That gift where maybe you thought like, I was just really hard to love, or I was never going to meet the person, but then somebody comes in and you realize like, oh my God, there they are. If this is like a long-term connection, I think any difficulties you've endured, any stressors that have been in play, I think are going to start falling away because you have put in the effort, group number 2. And We have with the quincy tree, with fruitfulness, seeds that hold their ground today bear the fruits of present and future happiness. You've been sowing your seeds. This could talk about literally. So if you're not looking to conceive, or, you know, like if you don't want to get pregnant or help someone else get pregnant, be very, I think, cautious of that, because if this is like a more casual connection, it could potentially result in conception. But overall, this is just a reminder that, like, you know, the effort that you've put into communicating, the effort you've been putting into being vulnerable, the effort you've been putting into showing love to someone, including yourself, really is going to pay off. And that could be, you're going to start seeing changes in a current relationship, or it could be that even dating casually, you know, you're going to learn more about what you're looking for in a partner. You could meet someone soon through your casual dating. It could be, I'm even getting, for some people, if you go on a date with somebody, they may be like, hey, you know, this was really cool, but I don't think this is the right fit for me, but I have a friend that I think you would really love. I think you guys would get along really well. So for some of you, there might be, it's kind of like a friend of a date that you might end up connecting with who would be a better fit for you. So we're going to see how this energy presents itself. Look at that. Magician energy. All your hard work. Why am I saying? All the pretty girls walk like this. We've got the Two of Swords in reverse. We've got Judgment. We've got, I'm pretty sure this is the Sun. You know, I 19, I'm pretty sure that is, but for some, I feel like there's a different, I don't know. I think that's the Sun card. Is that this? Every once in a while, there's a deck. Like, I have a couple of decks where there's a card that confuses me. I mean, we've got a giant sun there, but Lord knows I would be mistaken. We've got the Hanged Man. We've got the Queen of Swords in reverse. Wow, why'd you have to go and do that? Like, got the 7. So that's the Chariot in reverse. You've got Justice in reverse. We've got the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, I got it. The 5 of Wands and the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. So what I'm learning from this, because pile 1, the way this presented itself was very similar. I think this is, when I put in, like, how's this energy coming in, I think what the universe is showing me essentially is how you are attracting this. Okay? So your shift of perspective is what's going to bring this in. It could even be that a change in environment, with this, like, the Death card here, is what shifts your perspective. So whether it's you being willing to walk into a situation saying, you know what, I'm not going to take this so seriously, we're just going to have fun. And all of a sudden you realize, wow, that makes a huge difference in how I'm experiencing dating, or how I'm experiencing this relationship, or how I'm experiencing myself. Or whether it involves someone coming in and showing you, like, thinking of Stuart from Mad TV, look what I can do! Offering you something different, that's going to be a change in your perspective. Like we were talking earlier about, like, oh, this date isn't what I thought it would be. Oh my God, like, this is so cool. We've got the Two of Swords in reverse with the Queen of Swords in reverse. I feel like that signifies that for so long you could have potentially been mentally blocked because you thought you knew everything about the situation. You thought you knew everything about the person. Or maybe you were just in a position where you weren't ready to, like, if you're just jumping back out into the scene, right, of dating, this could involve like the first date that you go on after deciding like, okay, I'm ready to get back out there in the game. You might have mentally shut yourself off because you were focusing on other things, right? We've got the Judgment card here. This makes me think of like, God, what is it? Is that a scene from like The Little Mermaid? I can't remember if it's from The Little Mermaid or Pocahontas. But we've got the Chariot in reverse with Justice in reverse and the Eight of Pentacles. What this signifies to me is you've learned from past mistakes potentially. And so especially with like if you've been too serious in the past and instead are taking like this adventure and play attitude. If maybe you've struggled with how you've communicated or asking for clarification. I think there's a level that you have mastered in terms of engaging in relationships and really engaging in yourself. This could even be mastering like addictions. This could be mastering overcoming like indecisiveness. Like maybe previously you were in a point where you just weren't ready to settle down, which is fine. And like some people never get to that point. Some people never want to settle down, but you might be at a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready now. I kind of got the fun out of my way, or the non-committal energy out of my way, and I'm ready to take that step towards commitment. This could also be you've mastered being able to discern like who really has positive intentions towards you and who's just a fuckboy, who's just a fuck girl. You know, I think there's a sense of accomplishment here, and you've really had to put in the work. There were a lot of errors, I think, in the past where maybe you gave somebody too many chances without allowing them to prove themselves. Or maybe you kept focusing on like, maybe you kept entertaining people who were not serious about you, who were not providing for you, who were more self-focused, maybe non-committal themselves. This could also just be talking about you're at a point in your life where you're like, okay, I accomplished a major goal of mine. All right. I got my master's degree. I bought my home. I went to counseling. I moved across the country. I've been taking my vacations, and now that I've spent my energy on that, and now I'm ready to focus more on this. With the Sun in reverse, with the Sun in reverse, with the Five of Wands upright, and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, what that shows me is there's not an entertaining of frivolousness here. And even if you're like engaging in just casual connections, I feel like you still have a certain level of expectation for yourself. You know, like I need a partner who cares just about as much about my needs as I care about theirs. Even if this is a one-night stand, I need to know that my interests are just as important, that my experience is just as important. This could also be talking about making sure that like you're with people who are engaging in sex safely, and you're not entertaining somebody who is not willing to use contraceptives or who isn't willing to show that they have had STI testing done recently. feel like with this in reverse, you know, it's just kind of like being able to discern who's coming at you, even if like this is a current partner, or especially if it's a past partner, or you're somebody that you haven't been with yet. And just being able to say like, you know, if you're trying to put on a show, put on a mask just to get whatever you want, like you can go. Which is a lot more serious than I expected from this. Because this is a similar kind of energy to group 1, but group 1 had far more defenses put up. I don't feel like there's any level really of defensiveness here. With you, group 2, I feel like you're fairly open to opportunities. But there's just like this level of ascending I think you've done, where you can probably spot what's in your best interest and who's in your best interest. And so you can trust yourself more. You can trust yourself more to have fun, to let loose, to be free, because you know that, no, for 1, your judgment is stronger, but for 2, even if something happens, like, you're not going to sweat over it. You're not going to worry about it, because you know that speaks more about the other person than it does you. You're willing to put yourself back out there again because you trust that you will be okay. Wow. All right, so we're going to get some messages about what's coming next in your love life. Okay, so we've got, and this was in reverse, the golden mirror, self-absorbed, narcissist, one-sided relationship, and love bombing. You're not taking any of that. I think if you see that in someone, you're cutting it off immediately, whether you're with them or not. Like, if this is like your spouse and they try just being super sweet to you for the sake of being sweet to you, you're going to be like, go work on yourself and come at me correct next time. If this is like a new energy or somebody coming in from your past, like, you're going to be able to recognize if they're being deceitful and you're going to shut it down right away. I also feel that this is letting you know. So we've got all these positive cards here. Group number 2, that you are going to be having genuine people or a person who is genuine coming in or re-entering or trying to refresh your relationship, okay? The snake, competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, the other woman. There could... I'm sorry, it's funny because I'm like, well, that came out of nowhere. Let's get some clarity on that, because that is so out of left field. Although it makes me want to put it in one of these trees. And I don't like when messages come out of left field. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm like, you can't just throw curveballs at me, man. Like, I'm not trying to make people paranoid here. Okay, so 5 of Pentacles. So for some of you, there could be someone who would try to intercept this relationship either by appealing to you or by appealing to the other person. If this is like say this is a new person coming in. They may have just left a relationship and that ex could be trying to re-enter into their life. Maybe they're not ready to let them go. If this is like a current partner, they may have, and this is, I only will ever say this kind of stuff and preface it by saying, like, you would know, like, I am not here like to start drama where there's not already drama established. But if this involves like a current partner or a past partner who has cheated on you in the past, then what I feel this is saying is that first of all, when they come in, you will be able to tell if they're coming in genuinely or not. I think your intuition is going to be really strong, and you don't need to like second guess it. But the person that, if they did have an affair with, they may try to come back. And if this person had an affair while you were together, it's up to you how you want to handle it. But trust your gut. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave that. Like, just trust your gut. I just do feel that there is some, like with this card, and especially being confirmed by the Five of Pentacles, that's one way to show me it's not completely out of left field, like, because the Five of Pentacles is about being left out in the cold, you know? I'm not going to take that because it was on the floor. But someone could be feeling left out and maybe wanting to gain your attention or the attention of the other person. You know, if it's gaining your attention, you know how to handle that. I'd say if it was gaining the attention of the other person, like, don't even involve yourself. Like, let the other person prove to you, like, who they're going to prioritize. We have forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. But that was in reverse. New love, heart-to-heart conversations, and then retreat in reverse with it's time to disconnect from the world. I will say that especially with this energy here where we've talked about like your ability to discern, I don't think that you're feeling like I don't know, it's this energy of like, I'm not gonna let you make this mistake twice. Or like don't make this mistake twice. There could be a certain level of defensiveness that comes up. And even if this is somebody new, you might be feeling a little hesitant at first to be open with them because you may have been hurt in the past. For a lot of you, this is going to be a new love or a love that has blossomed from friendship. And even in connections where maybe there was some stagnancy, I feel like there's going to be this rejuvenation of love. So it's going to feel very new. Heart-to-heart conversations, feelings with each other. We got communication here, you know, and just remember that for as long as you are expressing yourselves and you're listening to each other, like those seeds are planted and you're going to see results from them. For some people too, there might not be another person involved. It just could be an insecurity of like, what if there is someone out there? That might be something that needs to be, especially, we have that under the heart-to-heart conversations. That could be something that needs to be addressed. You know, if there is any insecurity about that. And then retreat. What this brings to my mind with the retreat in reverse is that it's important to make sure that you still engage with like your community. And it might be very important for you to, whether this is like if this is a new person, build like a friendship with them. And it might be a positive thing to include them in your friend group to keep things kind of lighthearted. This could also just be indicating like you don't need to shy away from this connection or this energy that's entering into your life. Like, accept it. I'm sorry, that just kind of... You threw off my groove. I think what's kind of going on here is that group number 2, you've likely experienced betrayal or pain or insecurities, or just a lack of success in your romantic life, whether that's like for quite a while, or maybe it's recent and maybe it's with a particular person, or it could be just in general. And so I think there's this certain level of seriousness to it, but there's this energy coming in that's going to allow you to release that seriousness. I really shouldn't be surprised with the death card here that we're getting all of this intense energy when this started off so lighthearted, because I think that there signifies there is going to be a transformation. All right. And our last cards to look at, or card, we got Romeo and Juliet, which once again, do not model your relationship after them. But I once had a professor who the books we read for our World Lit class were all reminiscent of people we didn't want to be like. So it was like The Sorrows of Young Werther and Anna Karenina and 100 Years of... I think it was 100 Years of Solitude, and The Good Earth. I can't remember any of the other books that we read. But, wow, this is the same card we got for group 1. So I'm going to pull another one. It says, the sublimation of love, eternal loyalty, noble sacrifice. Oh, churl, drunk all, and left no friendly drop to help me after I will kiss thy lips. So this is when, like, Romeo's dead, okay? And Juliet's mourning him, and then she, like, stabs herself through the heart. Don't do that. Just being a little drama queen. I mean, he was a drama king first. But, even though we shouldn't do that, this isn't a life or death situation. What I really do think here is eternal loyalty and noble sacrifice can be very important. I think maybe that... Okay, I get it. Because this is what came out afterwards, was the nurse. Kindness, loving, realistic, thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit, wilt thou not, jewel? You may have felt like, I got the gift of one-liners and she's got the curse of curves. No, there was something about a poison kiss. You might have overextended yourself so much that you felt like you sacrificed a lot in the past. But there's an opportunity to have a connection, whether it's a present connection or a past connection, that heals that in you, where you don't have to extend yourself so much. Like, someone else will come in, and it's not that you lose any independence. It's not that you don't have a significant impact in the connection, but it's that there's someone who's willing to come in and allow you to be softer so they can show you, like, the love that you deserve and the freedom that you deserve and the fun that you deserve, whether it's for a night or for a lifetime. We have Apothecary. Oh my God, look at that. Forced sin, cunning, the dark side of human. My poverty, but not my will, consents. There may have been a situation. So my poverty, but not my will, consents. He was forced to do this because of his situation, but not because he wanted to. So, what the F? Oh my goodness. This got deep really. Oh my God. This was not what I was expecting, group 1. But, you know, I hope that this makes sense to you, where you're like, Amber, nah, I get it, man. I get it. It could be, for instance, If this is about a connection, a pre-existing condition, a connection that existed in the past, or maybe is a connection that's struggling today, it could be that, oh, okay, I get it. So I'll take my circumstance, for example. Like, my boyfriend is a migrant worker, and he's really stressed out because right now he doesn't exactly know, with the termination of his employment, if he's going to be able to stay in the United States or not. He has a couple of weeks to figure out if he can find a new job. And even before this, like, he was really stressed out because he was in a new country, in a new situation. And so our relationship was really strained. And it wasn't because he wanted to be, you know, like, the fighting didn't happen because he wanted to fight. It's because he was really stressed out. He was tired. He was exhausted. He was feeling insecure about his skills and everything like that. And so if there's any strain in this connection or in previous connections, wasn't necessarily because that's what the person wanted, who they wanted to be. It's very likely there were outside circumstances, or even situation like if there were mental health issues, which is not an excuse. It certainly isn't. But it could be like, if this is a connection re-entering into your life, or the healing of a current connection, there could be a communication that's needed when it comes to like what has happened and why it happened. Okay, there may need to be some closure and understanding about that. So group number 2, I felt so confident about this one at first. It got a little intense, so let me know if it made sense to you. But overall, I really feel that the point of this is saying that communication is important, and there's been a lot of heaviness, but you have done the work for yourself, and you're going to be rewarded with a feeling of lightheartedness and freedom and fun now. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to be a part of the family but haven't done so, just hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know whenever I upload a new video. Bye. Hello, group number 3. If you chose the STP oil treatment or the 4th house, this will be a reading on what's next for you in love. So, I know a little bit about cars, but I am not a car person. I enjoy learning things. So as I try to fix up my little beater vehicle, I learn a little bit. But I had to do a little bit of research about the oil treatment product, and this helps to reduce like friction and wear, from my understanding, within an engine. And then the 4th house is all about like family and home. So this reading could be about a relationship that you are already in and what's going to come with that relationship in the near future. This could also talk about, especially if like you are a single parent, or like your family is very important to you, like your immediate family or chosen family, and you're in the process of potentially looking to bring a love interest in, and a little bit nervous or excited to include them as part of your family. This could even just talk about like you wanting to get out there. You know, maybe you feel a little rusty. Maybe you want to like loosen up your engine a little bit. We're going to see what your oracle cards are to describe the energy that is going to be coming into your life. But whatever it is, it does seem like this is a serious commitment that you're intending to make, whether it's one that you currently have. And it's all about kind of like dusting off and clearing off any rust that may be occurring in the household, or whether it's just like you're looking for a long-term partner. So we have waves and we have reindeer. We have new love. And we have 17, the laurel tree with victory. I'm going to pause for a second because I forgot to look up what the meaning of reindeer is. Actually, I don't think I have to pause. No, I can look and see what the meaning is with the little dream booklet here. Dream. So reindeers in general make me think of holiday season, make me think of like chariot energy, and so movement and something a little bit like regal. This animal represents faithful duty and loyalty to your friends and dreams. To dream about a reindeer can also be a symbol for endurance and resilience without complaining. So it's interesting that we talk about friends and loyalty, you know, because I just talked about like your family, your chosen family, your friends. So reindeer energy can talk about like a friendship, you know, not necessarily just like a platonic friendship, but a friendship developing. Whether it's with somebody who you intend to be romantic with, whether it's somebody that develops into a romantic interest, or whether it's just like that friendship coming back into a pre-existing relationship or a relationship that may have previously ended. Holiday, you know, that's about celebration. Christmas is about gift giving. You know, Rudolph lit the way for the reindeers through the storms, you know, and there we talk about like endurance. I also think of, when I think of reindeers, I now think of like the Sami people in like northern parts of Europe, especially like over in Norway, where reindeer have been their primary resource for life. You know, I learned about how they would walk along northern Europe to migrate with the reindeer, how important reindeer populations are to them, and how there have been times where reindeer populations have disappeared or been threatened by overhunting. You know, a reindeer is, and as somebody who grew up in North America and always seen them almost in like a mythical sense, even though they are a real animal, it's kind of like they're the fancy version of deer. You know, like it's not just a deer, it's a reindeer. And so this could symbolize somebody who is coming in or embodying this energy. Oh my God, I'm sorry, but I just am look at this. So this is my little statue of Pan, okay? And then, oh my God. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense because, you know, Pan's a horned god. Horned gods kind of, you know, have horns. And that might not even be, there's another horned god. It starts with an O. I wonder if I'm getting those two mixed up. I'm like pagan light. I'm sorry. I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning. But this could be somebody who comes in or embodies this energy of being jovial, of being a leader, of being somebody to celebrate. There's these waves. Now, a lot of times when I think of waves, I do think of storms or trials and tribulations. And this can indicate that to get to this point, you may have to go through some storms, or the entrance of this person may cause some storms, and not because it's like a bad energy. I'm not getting that at all, especially we have new love and victory here. Oh my God, look at how, I'm sorry, I'm just noticing the coloring, the color schemes here and here. Oh, that's, oh, beautiful. Beautiful. But sometimes when people enter in our lives, there can be brought along with them transformation, and that can be sometimes uncomfortable. That can be difficult. And, you know, this may be a person who potentially shakes up your perspective or your routines. But I think at the end of the day, this is also just like making waves, you know, like things could move relatively quickly with this energy. I'm also thinking of just like surfing, you know, being out on the waves, vacation, the kind of thrill that comes with like being carried by such a powerful force as water can be. So there's something really exciting about this energy here. And with this new love card, You know, this could absolutely be somebody new. This could also just be like the rejuvenation of a relationship that already exists. We've got this eye right here peeking over water or the mountains. And so to me, this is kind of like a sense of enlightenment. You know, there's this energy of just knowing like I'm at the right place at the right time. Things are going to be okay. And even though we've got this sense of excitement and celebration here with this couple just sitting underneath their blanket, enjoying the scenery and like how content she is and how focused on her he is there, it's just like being wrapped in warmth as well. You know, I think the celebration really is just feeling like there's life back in this connection, or this person came back, or like you're feeling as if, yes, I finally potentially found somebody that I could share my life with. Or even just feeling like, yeah, I got it. But with, like I said, with the fourth house energy here, this does feel like a serious commitment. We've got the laurel tree, which says victory, and it says there is no crowning glory of achievement without first being victorious over inner conflict. And so maybe there has had to have been some inner conflict that you've dealt with. Maybe it's been dealing with a bunch of people that have not been in alignment with what your goals are for partnership or for your personal life. It could be that this relationship has seen a lot of struggles, maybe two personalities that have really struggled to adapt to each other. You know, love doesn't have to be hard, but sometimes to get to a place of ease, you have to go through difficulties. You know, on one hand, we certainly don't want to try to force things. But on the other hand, just because something is difficult doesn't mean that it's not worth working through and fighting for. You know, it's all dependent upon if there are other factors or other people involved. You know, if there is another person, are they putting an effort? Are they adapting? Or are you just doing all of the hard work? This makes me think of it just like, you know, receiving your laurels, receiving your recognition. And so it has this feeling of like either I finally found someone who's chosen me, or like the effort that we're putting forth into reconnecting or revitalizing our relationship is finally paying off. And so although there is this sense of excitement, it's not like a love bombing kind of excitement. It's not a reckless excitement. It's just the excitement, I think, of having found something that you feel is genuine and feeling seen, feeling recognized, and like you truly are on the path to victory. So we're going to see how this energy moves. I'm not taking that one because I wasn't done. How this has appeared in the previous two piles is it feels like an indication of what you are going through, how you are showing up in your life and in yourself and into other relationships to kind of bring this energy about. And this can be, you know, like confirmation for you, like, yeah, like I'm going through this. Or it can also just be kind of like guidance, like, you know, if this is something that you need to work on, or if this is something you need to embrace or reconsider. I tell you what, my shuffling is not up to par. I'm sorry. And it doesn't even really matter, but it's just like, I want them all to be facing the same way. Okay. Okay. So, 7 of Cups. Okay. The Knight of Wands in reverse. Okay, what I'm seeing already is that you have considered options before making any decisions, which I think is very important. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, I love this. So if this is a pre, you know, like if this is an existing relationship, we've got the Emperor in reverse here. We're just going to get some clarifiers. If this is an existing relationship, I think that if there have been any struggles, you have really taken the time. Yeah, you've been very analytical to consider like what path you want to take. We've got the Queen of Swords in reverse with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Excuse you. I said one way, please. Okay, the Two of Pentacles. And then the Emperor in reverse. Okay. Well, I didn't do the back of the deck energy for this one, but I will for you guys. The Ten of Cups and the Eight of Wands upright. So I feel like, first and foremost, you've definitely considered what it is that makes you happy. You've really taken a step back and thought about the different options. This could be like if you're in a relationship or that hasn't been doing too well, you've considered like, not even just like, should I stay or should I go? But like, what can, if there are any areas that maybe, you know, I need to improve upon to make my partner happy, is that something that I can do? What are my make it or break it's? What do I need to be happy? What am I not willing to sacrifice? Because I think overall, if this is a relationship that already exists, or if this is a relationship that has existed in the past that's looking at to be renewed, I think you certainly do want to make it work, but you're not jumping into anything. You're considering what it is that you need and what your partner needs and what's reasonable to accommodate and what is a hard limit. Because I think you might have been somebody who overextended yourself in the past, but you might also just naturally be more inclined to consider like what's realistic and what's fair and what's just. If this is a potentially newer connection coming in, you might have had a lot of suitors. Or you might have taken time with this person a little bit just to kind of get to know them, see like, are they in alignment with what my goals are and who I am and what kind of partner I'm looking for. There could be several dates ahead of you, whether with one person or the same person. I could see you having taken the time to like ask questions, to really get to know somebody better. Now with the Knight of Wands in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, and the Six of Pentacles in reverse as well. I think you've kind of kept your hand close to your chest. I think you have probably been somebody who's been very observant. And it could be that you're observant in your specific situation. It could also be that you've been observant like around you, seeing like how relationships are going with your friends, your family members, your coworkers. There might have been, because this Queen of Swords can represent like mental clarity and intuition, with it being in reverse, along with the Six of Pentacles being in reverse, which can talk about like equal exchange. I see that you've really limited yourself from taking action in situations where you felt like maybe your behaviors, your efforts wouldn't be reciprocated. And that might be something that was difficult for you to do. But I think that you understand the importance of it. To me, it seems like a matter of like conserving your energy, conserving your resources, you know, not making any rash decisions where you're not entirely sure that the other person feels the same way, or that they are going to commit to the same level of effort. Oh, excuse me. That might be confirmation for someone. I don't know. So for instance, you might not have been the first person, or you might not be willing to be the first person to say, like, I love you in a relationship, because you may have the expectation of, like, I need to hear it from the other person first. You might not have in the past been willing to move in with partners before you really understood, like, what their lifestyle was like, because you need to know, like, okay, how clean do you keep your place? What kind of schedule do you keep? Are you a morning person, a night person? Do you have people over a lot? How would we split the bills? Like, would we be having it? How would we split the household chores? Do you have any roommates? Or like, I have roommates right now. I don't, but I'm speaking hypothetically. Like, I have roommates right now and I would need to discuss it with them first, or I would prefer to get us to have a place away from roommates. So I think, we should save up money. This could be not proposing to anybody or not accepting an engagement until you're absolutely certain. This could even be just like waiting to have more serious conversations about the future until you feel confident about the present. So sometimes people begin to talk about the future very early, and I think for some people that works very well. For others, it can be kind of like a form of love bombing, or there may be a lack of reality based experience in that, or expectations. I don't really know how to explain it, but like you have this image of being together when you don't really like know each other all that well. With the Wheel of Fortune here, I definitely see that you have embraced cycles. Okay, you've recognized, whether this comes through naturally to you or it's something that you've had to develop, you recognize the cycles of life, that there are going to be negative times and positive times. There are going to be people have their strengths and their weaknesses. So I think if this is like a relationship that is pre-existing or has existed in the past, there's a certain level of like benefit of the doubt, or gentleness that you have with this person, because you understand, like, hey, we're all human. I don't expect this person to operate perfectly. I don't expect myself to operate perfectly. I think if this involves just like newer people or past energies, like, you might be casually dating, or just taking things more slowly with someone, because you understand the cycles of a relationship. You understand that, like, there's like the honeymoon phase, and then you don't really know somebody until you argue with them, and that even you could be going through a phase, like a cycle in your life, or if this involves another person, they could be going through a cycle in their life where maybe things are a little bit different right now. If there's a relationship that's strange, you might be understanding of like, okay, this isn't the best time to make any major decisions, because this is an unusual period of time for us. It's an unusually heightened period of excitement and happiness and love, or it's an unusual level of stress and frustration for us. And so this Two of Pentacles really talks about being balanced. I love this card so much. We've got these little goats here and these kids and the little boys like just gently kissing the side of the head of the girl. So it's just, to me, that gives this softness, this tenderness, this like understanding of life happens and it's okay. I'm not in a rush to get anywhere. And I think with the with the Emperor in reverse and the Page of The Page of Swords, for one, you may have communicated that you may be more passive, that you want somebody who takes more of a leadership role. You may have also been kind of weighing the moments where, like, when should I take control? When should I take initiative? And when do I need to pull my energy back? For myself, for example, one of the lessons that I'm learning is to give my partner the freedom to just make his decisions. You know, I'm kind of a control freak, but I was explaining to him today, you know, one of the things that I love about him, because he's in a position where he's like really frustrated and really anxious, and you know, he's going through some mood swings and stuff like that. And I told him, you know, I have been with people where all they do is they sit there and they complain about where they're at in their life and what's going on, and yet they don't do a damn thing. They just sit on their asses expecting something to change when they don't make any initiative to change it. And I said, but you're frustrated, you're upset, you're acknowledging that, and you are trying to actively make a difference. You are trying to find a route to a situation that makes you feel more fulfilled, makes you feel more confident. And like, so one of my struggles is I have to remember to pull back. I have to remember, like, okay, I'm going to let Keegan handle this. Like, this is him. I can be a supporting character in this circumstance with him, but this is his decision, okay? And I think maybe you're analyzing the times when you need to take initiative and when you don't need to take initiative. But I think you've also just kind of observed when people haven't taken the initiative, or when the Emperor in reverse can also be somebody who is too controlling, too domineering. And I think you've held people accountable for that. So like if this is an existing relationship, you know, this is probably somebody that you've had to have conversations with sometimes where you're like, I didn't like the way you talked to me, or I didn't like how you did that without taking me into consideration. I was really upset by this behavior. Or like, you know, I was really frustrated that you didn't take the initiative on this. And if this is about in some way, in shape and form, like previous connections, even casually, you might just be interested, like, might have expressed like, with how early this is, you know, I'm not going to make any major steps. I want to take this more slowly, or, you know, I don't feel like this is a connection that is heading in the direction that I would like it to go. Like, I don't, you know, I think that you could be a good partner for somebody, but I just don't think you're a good partner for me. I will say here, the 10 of Cups and the 8 of Wands indicates to me that you've got a very fulfilling relationship evolution or new relationship coming in. And it's going to come in hot. Group number 3. So we're just going to get some messages from the universe about the future, like, you know, what's next in your love life, what's coming next in love. I would say this is probably like the softest of all 3. Like, all 3 of them were fairly positive interactions. But the other 2 were like a little heavy in some ways. And this just feels, oh, look at this palm tree. Stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, and flexibility. So if your relationship has been feeling like rigid or shaky, unstable, that's going to be changing. If this is a newer relationship, I think you're going to be, oh, look how these, like, I just love this, the palm tree with the wave. It's really tropical. Could be somebody from somewhere tropical coming in, or you could be from a tropical area. But it feels like there is going to be somebody who's going to kind of come in, and they're going to be like your vacation. healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship or addiction, but it's in reverse. There could still, and I think we saw this a little bit with the waves, there could still be struggles in the connection, whether it's new, or whether it's a pre-existing relationship. Like if there's been hardships between the two of you, that's something that's going to actively have to be worked on. From what I'm gathering, if this energy resonates with you, I would say that it's the other person who might find it more difficult to heal any insecurities or pains that they've had in the past, but I think they're willing to do it. If this is new energy, you might be meeting somebody who is going to embody this energy, but just know that they may have some wounds and triggers that could come up during this relationship. And it's also just a reminder to, like, if there's somebody who comes in and they are just like really vindictive, they're really vindictive, or they're bitter, and they're not trying to actively heal themselves, just make sure that you protect yourself against that. There's a difference between somebody who's wounded and willing and trying to heal, and somebody who's wounded and is just holding on to it. And with this heart-to-heart conversations in reverse, with honestly discuss your feelings with each other, if this is an existing relationship or relationship that has ended that could be coming back in, this could indicate that there have been feelings that have been suppressed in the past, and just to work through those, you might have to be the one to initiate that conversation. But if this is newer ones, if these are newer conversations, if these are newer people, just watch out for people who might kind of embellish a little bit, or be dishonest with how they feel, or it could just talk about, maybe something you need to work on is just being a little bit more open, with your feelings early on. And then we have reconciliation in reverse, with someone from your past is returning to your life. And then playfulness in reverse, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit to of fun to shine. What I'm getting from this is that for those of you asking about somebody from your past, on one hand, for some of you, this would be an indicator of don't entertain that person. Especially if this is someone who is not willing to heal, and someone who is just kind of putting on a mask and being a little bit of like a Casanova. This could also indicate, though, oh, hey, I accidentally had one of the cards from last pile stuck in here. It's the horsey, I think. I don't know where it went. This could indicate, though, that one thing that could potentially block a person from coming back in is, or from this relationship healing, if this is a pre-existing relationship, is if there is not a willingness to be playful. You might be the type of person who hyperfixates on emotions, or they do. And while it is important to focus on very, serious issues, I think the universe is also saying if this is a relationship you want to work out, it is important to have more lighthearted and playful energies as well, because it's almost like the feeling of if you focus too much on the negative or the serious aspects, what it causes is rumination, because both of you could be overthinkers. That could be the issue here. So if you know this is a player, don't entertain them. But if this is a genuine connection with someone that, you love, and that like they love you as well, and they're willing to put in the effort, then it's just going to require you to be a little bit more lighthearted in some circumstances. All right. And then we'll get one from the Romeo and Juliet deck. revenge, punishment, compensation, counterattack. Thy beauty hath made me effeminate, and in my temper softened valor's steel. But it was in reverse. So it's really important here not to get petty. And I feel like for most of you, because we looked at a lot of this energy here, for most of you, I don't feel like you would be petty at all. If you have any concerns about the other person being petty, I think this is an indication that you don't need to worry, that they're coming in with pure intentions and that they also want to do healing with you, that this is somebody who is open. Appointment, engagement, marriage, proposal. If that thy bent of love be honorable, thy purpose marriage send me word tomorrow. There could be a proposal in your future, which would totally make sense with this 10 of Cups and this 8 of Wands, if that's something you want. And if it's not marriage, if for any reason, like your relationship isn't eligible for marriage, or because maybe marriage is just kind of like an institution to one or both of you, this could just be like a very high level of commitment. But I think you got some big news coming to you, group number 3. So that's your reading. If you resonated, please let me know how in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to be a part of the family but haven't done so, you can hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know whenever I upload a new video. Bye.